Sinister.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, Most Wanted. And today, as you can probably tell by the vehicle we're staring at right now, we are covering the Titan, a godly class design and a member of the Twin Guard faction. Member? Vehicle in the Twin Guard faction. So there's any number of reasons why this is on the Most Wanted list. Basically, this is a design that, well, I used to be absolutely terrified of, but now it's mainly just irritating, and certainly for anybody who is, even more experienced people, I think, will have trouble with this thing. Mostly because, we'll just dive straight into its strengths. Firstly, it is one of a huge number of vehicles. Well, it's seeming like every godly class vehicle these days, only with a few exceptions, has these infuriating lamp systems. So I don't like that. This thing can eat entire cram volleys, and to demonstrate that, I am going to spawn in one of my ships at a ridiculously close range. We're gonna throw the Skella at it, not Skella, what's its face? Yeah, the Skella. We're going to throw the Skella at it. Incidentally, I've updated the Skella a bit, for those of you wondering. And in the brief moment before the Skella gets annihilated, you will see that there will be absolutely none of this cram nonsense. At least I don't think so. Yep, there we go. That was 16 cram shells blown straight out of the air, so that's hardly ideal. Also, I think EMP just knocked out of the one of the guns. That's irritating. Yep, and there we go. Yep, boom. Skilla is actually lasting longer than I thought it would. One more volley? Can we get lucky? Nope, we are not going to get lucky. Oh, we are. Yay, we managed to tickle it. And by tickle it, I mean, this Titan is spawned in on my team. Why am I cheering for the Skilla? In any case, so a 16 1,500mm cram volley is just gone. Like that. That's how good the lamp system is. Missile swarms tend to go a similar way. And the upper half is quite well shielded. And what's handy about this thing is that the shields are always on, which means I can do this. So let's see here. Alpha. To all. And now let's see. So the upper half is very well shielded from the front. And since this entire torso bit, this the torso bit, it's mounted on a turret, so this is pretty much always facing the enemy if everything's going according to plan. It's got these overlapping butterfly shields, which I personally despise, even though I use them, and I know I'm not the only one. So, well shielded, and I think these shields are actually quite strong. So, let's see here, how strong is this thing? This thing is a strength 6 shield, so yeah, it's a bit stronger than average. Okay, so that is certainly a pain in the wazoo. And what is it armed with? Well, it's got this big, high-explosive 2,500mm APS gun over here, and it's quite bog-standard shell, actually, so it's got lots of HE warheads, initial fuse, base bleeder for a bit of extra range and speed. Let's see how fast this is. Over 400 meters per second, so it's a reasonably fast shell. Let me out. And on the other side over here, it has a big scary pulse laser. And it's not strictly accurate, I don't think, with the... Where is it? Okay, so laser combiner. Stop moving. Darn it. So, it's about 3,600 pulse damage. with a lot of armor piercing. So this laser tends to eat straight through like metal hulls and stuff like that. So it's not really an anti-aircraft laser, it's more of a shred anything laser, which is tremendously annoying if you don't have smoke to deal with it. And over here we have just regular frag guns, 150mm frag guns. Let's see, 150mm. I actually don't know whether these are belt feeders or not. So these are quite light shells, but very fast, over 500 meters per second. Inertial fuse frag head base bleeder. So this thing is fond of base bleeders, it seems. And let's see if these are actually belt fed, because I forgot to check that earlier. It is, yep, indeed, belt fed. So quite an impressive rate of fire. This thing delivers a lot of ducking from the front, and we're not even done yet. You'll see here it's got big fragmentation missiles set to quite a narrow cone angle, thankfully. I think they forgot to adjust that as of the last frag patch. So the fragments themselves don't do much damage, but the fact that they're all aimed the same, in the same tight cone, means they do quite a bit of damage anyway. And there are hidden missile systems here in the back. These, and these are, oh my god, this is, oh you cheaty bastard. It's got, I disapprove. Spin block nonsense. How do they do this? With great difficulty, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's merged with the vehicle itself, you cheaty bastard. Anyway, so these are big EMP missiles, so all radar guided, so flares are no help whatsoever. You need the radar decoys to deal with this thing. So, big frags, big EMPs. It has torpedoes down here. And lots of Hearthstone extensions. Interesting. These are, let's see what these are. These are pure EMP torpedoes. So, not a tremendous problem if your ship is mostly made of wood. But if your ship is mostly made of wood, well, you go the way of the skillet. You get shredded by everything else. So anything that has a lot of just electronic components or heavy armor in the hull is going to have a really hard time with this kind of thing. So, it's very well armed, but that's not the main point of this thing. It's kind of got a weapon for everything. It's even got I mean, look at that. It's even got a head that moves. Very nice touch there. But the main thing that makes this thing irritating is what is down here. Now, thankfully, this is not as overpowered as it used to be, but you'll notice there's a lot of repair tentacles down here. And you'll also notice that when I, for instance, blow up a certain part of this, it gets repaired almost instantly. So, sub-vehicles cannot repair their target vehicle, even if they have repair tentacles on them, but parent vehicles can repair sub-vehicles, and that is what makes this craft so irritating to deal with, is because you will notice that the torso is around 7,000 blocks, and it is jam-packed with weapon systems. It's got, I think it, not the missile launcher, come on. It, 1, 2, 3, 4, it has a lot of weapons in it, and also has a lot of ammunition. Where is the ammo? Ah, here it is. It's right in the back. This thing really does like to eat quite a bit of material. But yeah, so this is a bigger, better armed target, which means that the default target prioritization card settings will ignore what they should be aiming for, which is the base, and they will focus on this, which is well shielded, well armored, and will continuously be repaired. So that's what makes this thing such a nightmare. It's a repair hog. Oink oink. But, so how do you deal with this great big well armored thing? Well, the good news is that this thing, like, once you know how to deal with it, it's not that bad. Well, firstly, you need stuff to deal with all the weapon systems. So you need smoke for the lasers, you need overlapping shields for these frag guns, again, shields for this. You need decent missile countermeasures, so just Radar decoys and sonar decoys should do the trick, but these days, like, honestly, a LAM system wouldn't hurt. Or even like counter missiles, so long as you've got the usual checkbox of defense and it's solid like defense, you should be able to survive what this thing throws at you. But how do you kill it? Well, firstly, this thing is quite slow. It only goes around... Is it gonna max out? Don't think so. It goes around 11 meters per second. Almost to 12, but about 11 meters per second. So this thing is not particularly fast, and that means it's not dodgy. It will get hit if you, like, even slower shells or like less accurate shells can still hit it. Like even the torso, which tends to wiggle around a bit because it's on a turret. And yeah, so once you've dealt with the shields and the lamps, this thing will eat damage. Quite a lot. And another thing is that, to note, is that pretty much all the weapons are concentrated in the torso here. The main body, as far as I'm aware, 1, 2, 3, 4, thank you, Wilner, is that this part, this main craft right here, has no weapons at all. And that is important because it means that once this is blown off, it's helpless. And it's around, this main body is around 90,000 material cost, so once you do manage to kill the torso, this thing is utterly defenseless, and you can capture it, you can blow it to pieces, you can do whatever you like with it. It's also quite aesthetically pleasing. I like the little metal bits there. But anyway, we're getting distracted. So another thing to note is that because this thing, I think that's an intentional design choice, is because this thing uses lasers, both as weaponry and as defense, it doesn't have smoke, and as far as I'm aware, it doesn't have laser-absorbing shields, which means lasers will gut this thing. I haven't really tested that thoroughly, I really should, but I believe that... Go here, 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, so I do not see any smoke, and pretty much all these shields are set to reflect. Yeah, that's quite handy because it means that, like, lasers which are set to go for smaller targets will go for this first, and that's important because once the torso is blown up, this thing has no offense, but once the base is blown up, that thing just sinks straight into the water and is essentially helpless. So go for the base first, however you can, even if it's manual control. Kill the thing the torso is sitting on. That's important. That's the best way to kill this thing. So it is slow, it's got no smoke, it's actually quite easy to hit, like discounting the lamps and the shields. And you will notice that down here, shields are all activated. And let's just mess with this quickly. Let's see. There's a shield color thing. Yeah, this thing hasn't been tweaked yet, it doesn't look like. Quite all. I retract my previous statement. I was going to say that the base is not well shielded. It is in fact very well shielded, so never freaking mind. Okay. Right, so never mind that. In fact, I am going to cross that off. Damn you. Right, but there is a cure for the amount of shields it has. And that is that while it has no smoke, and it also, and this is important, it has no surge protectors, and it's made almost entirely out of what seems to be metal, and yeah, I think it's just metal. Is there alloy? Yeah, there's alloy in here as well. So it's entirely made out of metal and light alloy, and also heavy armor, which means this thing is really vulnerable to EMP. So you get a decent EMP particle cannon, you get a swarm of EMP missiles or torpedoes, or even EMP cram cannons. And you can really do a number on this, because you will strip off the sensors, you'll strip off these little lab nodes. Like someone told me the other day that these little laser munition defense are actually quite vulnerable to EMP. 60%. That's actually more vulnerable than most AI components. So, in fact, just to compare, laser munition border. Okay, no, that's really 60%. Nah, it's about on par with AI components in terms of EMP vulnerability. So, also, like, the weapons, the weapon controllers for pretty much all the weapons, no surge protectors around them, no stone, no wood, which means that it'll basically turn this thing off if it gets hit with a big enough swarm of them. And in particular, you'll see in here, oh my god, I hate this thing's spin blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there it is. So there's no surge protectors around the AI, and it's surrounded by what looks like metal and heavy armor. Now, for the record, I do not know if EMP travels through metal armor, or is it just damages it and then stops. So let me know if that's the case, but either way, just putting heavy armor right next to your AI is not the best idea, because it means that EMP will damage it, and once the heavy armor is gone, there's what is left armoring your AI? Nothing. So, just drench this thing in EMP, and it should die eventually, and especially down here in the bottom. Ah, it does have surge protectors. Hello. Not many by the looks of it. How did I miss that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Yes. However, 2. Oh my goodness. Yes. So you see the main AI for the base also, it's touching heavy armor, which means that it'll just, a good repeated EMP will just, well, melt that. So, good to know, very vulnerable to EMP. And another thing to note, we go to the map. This thing has 74,000 resources to play with, but look at its overall cost. Like, of the Titan torso, it's more than twice that. Which means that, although it can repair itself very quickly, it will run out of resources eventually. It cannot repair itself more than twice over. So, if you can just survive what it throws at you, it is possible to outlast it. Because it'll just keep repairing, and then it'll be out of money. And then you can just take it to pieces. So, speaking of taking it to pieces, like, how do you kill it? Well, firstly, as I said before, go for the base first. So, torpedoes are a very good idea. It doesn't actually have any torpedo decoys, apart from the lambs itself. And it looks like there is just one little passive sonar here. Once that is blown off, it's done. Like, you can kill it, just with torpedoes alone. I believe. There might be another one I've missed, but as tends to be the case with things like this, if you pop the passive sonar, suddenly lambs are not as helpful against torpedoes anymore. So, the other thing is, as I mentioned before, lasers. This thing doesn't have any laser defense at all, so shred it with that. And smoke works quite well. Like, you'll see, you would have noticed that with the Skiller, the ill-fated little test run, I threw it at this. You'll see that it managed to get some smoke on the main body right here, and suddenly the cram volley was getting through. Which makes quite a difference, because it means that once you smoke up both the torso and the base, you can kill it with missiles and crams. And remember, EMP and cram, well, missiles and crams are some of the better ways to inflict EMP in this game. I think, like, only really particle cannons are better than that, because at this stage they're still not stopped by anything. So, what else is there? Well, APS. Just spamming APS, as tends to be the case with most things in this game, will kill it quite handily. Like, if I say, for instance, spawn in one of my least favorite things of all time, and that is the Khazar. You'll see that, yep. actually the Titan seems to be winning. That's irritating. Wow. That's actually impressive. Wow! Crimming. Well, looks like the Khazar isn't getting on the most wanted list anytime soon. Well, so much for my point right there. Like, the Khazar is actually one of the scariest Steel Striders craft, and that cannon it has is no joke. And the Titan just shrugged it off like it was absolutely nothing, so... Well, I feel quite proud of that, because, Okay, stop it. Enough of that. So, I guess you just essentially need a better gun that's on the Khazar, but rest assured, enough APS fire will bring almost anything down, and that includes this. Like, especially disruptor rounds, or just regular spamming high explosive. Anything that can hit both the torso and the base at the same time. Very nice. And what else? Yeah, so I've mentioned EMP just for destruction of AI, and also, important thing to note with this thing is that you have a lot of armor in the front here, lots of layers of metal. How many layers is this? It's just including the little things. Actually the head gets blown off surprisingly easily, so let's see here. That is one layer, an air gap, two, and then heavy armor. So if you tear through here, there is one layer of heavy armor between the big scary outside world over there and all the juicy innards of this thing. So you have engines right here, we have fuel, we have, what is it? I think there's, yeah, the LAM system itself. And what's here? We have more heavy armor, like more heavy armor surrounded the ammunition and the AI. So just wash this thing in EMP. Just lots of it. And you should be fine. And so just to show you what I mean, I'm going to throw another one of my ships as this. Doop, doop. Wrong tab. Sorry, I have the hiccups. So here's the Titan. Yeah. We're going to throw my old favorite at it, the Naga. And it took actually a long time for me to build the Naga up to the point to kill it, but it's got pretty much everything. It's got, well, not everything, it's got enough to kill it. It has big grams, it's got smoke to take care of the lambs, it's got EMP, so yeah, it's a good time for all. Let's put in deep water guard colors, why not? So we're gonna throw that in. Hot purple. And as ever, the Naga perhaps isn't the best thing to demonstrate with it because it is a bit of a repair hog. See here, this thing still takes a damn long time to kill. And arguably what I'm throwing at it isn't the most effective way to do it. In fact, we might have gotten unlucky here. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe! I believe in Steve. And this is the problem with smoke. Come on. You're making a fool out of me. There we go. Right in the face. So if you can survive the laser and all the APS and all that stuff, and hopefully the Titan's eating through materials quicker than the Naga is, but yeah, point taken, this thing takes a damn long time to kill. Any day now. Hey, the base is actually gone down by 1%. In case you're wondering, I don't know, maybe the Naga has performance anxiety or something like that, because usually it starts to damage this thing a lot quicker. We might be here for a while, so I'm just gonna end it there. Or maybe not. Come on. I believe in you. Come on, smoke up the bits that are important. There you go. Or not. There we go. Solid hit, solid hit. See, if you can actually land hits on the damn thing, then it can kind of work. Life can work for you. And this is why, oh, there we go, right in the face. Which then gets repaired immediately, because, yeah, this thing is still very irritating. There we go. Now the smoke is in the right place. I was meant to sign off ages ago. Naga, you're taking too long. There we go. Smoke's in the right place. We're now blowing chunks off. Damage? What damage? Yep. Yep. This is how we do it. Did you see the problem right here? That the Naga keeps aiming for the stupid thing. EMP, it's slowly but surely shredding bits of it. Okay, so we managed to get it down to 3%. So I think we're just gonna call it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Most Wanted. Hope this video was helpful. See you next time. Farewell.